Hi, today we'll be going over section 4.5, solving rational equations. In this video, we'll discuss how to solve rational equations, the step-by-step process, and we'll go over problem number 1 and problem number 2. How do I solve a rational equation when I have stuff in the numerator and stuff in the denominator? Well, let's clear that denominator by multiplying the whole entire equation by the LCD, the lowest common denominator. How can we find that? We need to factor all the pieces. So factor everything completely, and then look in the denominator and determine what values cannot be in your domain. We know this because we cannot divide by 0. So we find those restricted values, excluded values. Those are called extraneous solutions. If somehow you're solving and all of a sudden you get a number that when you plug it back in the original causes the denominator to be 0, you know that that cannot be a true solution. Once I find the LCD, I multiply the whole thing by the LCD. And that clears the fractions, and then I simplify, combine the like terms, and solve for a given variable. Let's try number 1. First, state the restricted or excluded values, and then solve. So if I look at the denominator, is there anything I need to factor here? No. So what are the excluded or restricted values? What will make the denominator 0? I see here 4x equals 0 would cause x to be 0. Here x equals 0. And here there is no x value. So don't get confused by the 20. That's not a restricted value. The only restricted value are the x values that cause the denominator to be 0. And the only value that causes the denominator to be 0 in our case is 0. So the restricted values are x equals 0. Now, what's the lowest common denominator? When I take 20x and 4x, what's the smallest that they can all be multiplied into? And the answer is 20x. Now that I know that, I can multiply the entire equation, both sides, so I'm not changing it. I'm just multiplying both sides by the same thing. So I multiply the entire equation by 20x. I take this common denominator and distribute it to all three pieces. Because you chose a common denominator, all the denominators will divide out. And then you'll just have one numerator instead of a bunch of denominators. Let's look at how that looks. So essentially, I can write it out, this first one, just so it kind of makes sense to you, and then we'll do it without writing it out next time. I'm multiplying every piece by 20x. I'm multiplying by 20x on all three pieces. What do I see? 20 divided by 20 is 1. X divided by x is 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. X divided by x is 1. So what do I have left? I have a negative 3x plus 2 equals 5 times 5, which is 25. Wasn't that nice? So you can clear those fractions by multiplying by the lowest common denominator. Now this looks beautiful, and I know how to solve. I subtract 2 from both sides, so negative 3x equals 23, and then I can divide by negative 3. So x equals negative 23 over 3. Then I check, is this a restricted value? No, it's not. So I'm done. Let's try number 2. All right, same idea. First of all, make sure all the pieces are factored, which they are. Second, find the lowest common denominator. Notice that negative 1 is really 1 over 1. And so I have x plus 3, 1, x plus 3. You can think of these binomials as kind of one chunk. Okay, what's the common denominator? What can they all multiply into? And the answer is x plus 3. So let me write that out again so you can see when I multiply each piece by x plus 3, what happens? Okay, so on the left here, I have x plus 5 over x plus 3 minus 1 times x plus 3 equals 2x over x plus 3. Okay, I can easily see now the x plus 3's will divide to 1 on the very left and the very right. And what do I have left? I have x plus 5 minus x plus 3 equals 2x. What is a common error here? Students forget to distribute the negative. Notice I'm subtracting 1, the entire x plus 3. If you don't write that in parentheses, many students just write negative x plus 3. But it's not negative x plus 3, it's negative x minus 3. So be aware of distributing that negative. All right, let's look at it and combine some like terms. So x plus 5 minus x minus 3 equals 2x. If I combine the 5 minus 3 is 2, and the x minus x is 0, so 2 equals 2x, and divide both sides by 2, which divides to 1 on each side, so x equals 1. Notice it's important to understand divides to 1, not cancels, not poof, be gone. You don't just scratch them out. It's a mathematically sound process. They divide to 1. So you're not lost and confused and say, whoa, what's the answer here? X equals 1. All right, what's the lowest common denominator? X plus 3. What's the restricted value? So what can I not plug in? If I plug it in, it makes the denominator 0, and that would be negative 3. Then I check, is 1 a restricted value? No, it's not. So you're all set. Thank you. We'll see you next time.